there! Tuna asked me to let you know about a content warning before we got started. This encounter has a mystery that revolves around kidnappings. If that's not for you, then consider checking out one of our other videos. Thanks!
As you all turn the crank on the outside of the crate, a tune begins to play. It starts off normal at first, but the further into it you get, it becomes slower and more distorted until suddenly the lid on the crate flips open. You peer inside, but it's too dark to tell what might be in there, and that's when you realize, even though you're not turning the crank anymore, you can still hear the tune. Hello, and welcome to Tuna's Tales. This time on Pondering Monsters, we'll be covering a horror out of the box from the Grim Hollow Monster Grimoire. This creature is a CR5 Fae that is straight out of many a childhood nightmare. With its 50-foot jumping distance and long flailing limbs, it can make for a great villain or a low-level boss in a spooky one-shot. So come on, let's see if your party floats too. As the heroes travel along to their next destination, they enter a quiet little hamlet in the countryside. As they walk down the only road, they notice that people are stopping and staring at them in awe. The people here have no trouble telling that this is a group of adventurers. While the heroes soak in the admiration, one of them notices something a little odd. Given the number of people in the area, there seem to be shockingly few children around. They can see a small huddle of kids playing nearby, but even more oddly, they seem to be actively excluding one kid in particular. Our heroes approach the lone child and ask if they want to join the other kids. The lone kid responds that the others don't want to play with him because he was the only one that came back. Curious and alarmed at this answer, the heroes ask what that means, and the kid tells them that a lot of other kids in the area have disappeared recently. It almost happened to him, but he managed to get away from the long-armed man, though no one seems to believe him when he talks about it. With the adventurers' interests piqued and ever the heroes that they are, they decide to begin looking into this matter. They start off by questioning the adults in the town and learn that most of the children have gone missing. Everyone suspects the family of the child that returned recently, and there is a palpable anger towards them. As the heroes search the town for anyone suspicious, long-armed or not, they eventually catch sight of a figure leaping from rooftop to rooftop, carrying what appears to be the excluded child from earlier. They give chase and come into a confrontation with a creepy, long-armed clown creature. After they do away with him, they search the area for the other missing children, and after a short search, find them. Our heroes return the children to their families, explain what was going on, and once again have saved the day.
Ooh, spooky. But I have some questions.
Of course you do, Red. Let's hear them.
Okay, first off, how did that one child get away?
Honestly, however you want. Maybe he outsmarted this creature, managed to hide from it, or temporarily trapped it and ran away before it could properly nab him.
Well, he's a witness then. Why aren't the people in the area listening to him?
Ooh, good point. I'd say it's because he's a kid. That's actually a well-known trope in a lot of things. So much so that there's a tabletop system, Kids on Bikes, that has that as one of the rules.
I guess. That seems kind of hand-wavy, though. I want some more realism with this encounter.
Well, in that case, you can say something like the kid wasn't sure what he saw. Maybe he hit his head at one point while trying to escape, and now his memory is called into question. Or maybe he was sick and people chalk it up to being a fever dream. You're smart. I'm sure you can think of something that fits with this.
Well, alright then. But why do the rest of the people in the area suspect this kid's family?
Ha, this is a good one. If you want to get a little into some psychology of this, then try putting yourself in the shoes of the other parents for a second. Your kid has gone missing, and you ask yourself, why me? Then you see this other family lose their kid, but then get them back? Seems pretty natural to turn your questions to, why them? Then suspicions set in, and rumors start to spread. Grief can make people do some pretty crazy things.
Wow, that's kind of dark. Like, really dark. What if I don't want to do it that way?
Well, in that case, make something up about the family. They're the newest ones to the area. One of the parents has had trouble with scams in the past, or maybe the parents are bugbears and the kid talking about the long-armed man gets the wrong kind of attention given that bugbears have long arms.
Okay, I can see that working, but why is this creature doing this in the first place?
You have a couple options here, actually. The one that I'd probably use, though, would be that it was hired by a more powerful fae, like a hag or an evil member of the fae courts.
Why would a hag want to kidnap children?
Really? That's kind of their MO. They steal children for any number of reasons. Just look at Hansel and Gretel.
Ugh, I hate hags. They always taste terrible. What if I don't want to use them in my game?
Then you still have plenty of options here. The hag angle is probably the easiest, but you could say that the horror out of the box is doing this for its own ends.
Like what?
Well, you've got rituals that it needs to do so it can return to the Fey realm, something with gaining followers so that it can become more powerful, or simply because it's hungry. Overall, this one should be easy enough for you to come up with something on your own that you think your table will enjoy.
Okay. I have one more question, though.
Yeah, go for it.
How do I use this in a campaign?
Another good one. The most obvious thing to me would be if you want to send your party to the Fey realms or introduce a powerful Fey to the party as a villain.
Oh, are you talking about using this creature as a simple minion? I love having minions.
That I am. If you take the approach of this creature is working for a more powerful Fey, then this is how you could introduce that Fey to the party.
Let me guess. When the party tries to get the kids back, this Fey appears in front of them?
Now you're getting it, Red. You could do that. You could have info stashed on the creature or around the area that they fight it in so that the party can find it. Something that calls out a boss or master in some fashion. Or you could just have this creature call out to its boss as the party defeats it.
Pretty smooth, Tuna.
Thank you, Red. If that was your last question, you ready to see how this looks when we start tying everything together?
You bet I am.
After talking to the child that escaped their creepy Fey kidnapper, your party can start exploring around and questioning the locals of this little community. In doing so, they can gather more info about the missing kids. Things like how many are missing, what they were doing, or where they were last seen before they disappeared. You can also use this bit of questioning to feed the party the rumors around town about the family of the kid that returned, whatever those rumors may be. Well, I heard that child's father has been in trouble with some unsavory types in the past. You know the kind, the people-nabbing kind. I have half a mind to go search his place myself. Speaking with the villagers can reveal as much or as little info as you want, but the main things to convey to the party are: how many missing kids are there, how long has this been going on, who the village suspects the culprit is, and where the kids went missing. You can have the villagers be cooperative in all this, which makes the lead up to encountering this creature super straightforward, or if you wanted to make your party work for the info, then you can play the villagers as being more guarded when it comes to answering strangers' questions. Of course, if you want to turn this into even more of a mystery, then I'd recommend checking out the Alexandrian's video on mysteries in RPGs. I've used his 3-clue rule before, and it worked like a charm. Regardless of how you approach the questioning portion here, any DCs you decide to use should be in the 12 to 13 range for a 5th level party. Once your party has gathered all the info they feel is necessary, they can move towards encountering this creature. As you set off from the most recent house that you're investigating, you hear a hauntingly jaunty tune and someone screaming coming from nearby. As you look towards the source, you see a clown-like creature jumping from rooftop to rooftop, carrying the child that escaped this creature once before. You actually have a couple ways to get this creature in front of your party. The most direct would be to have it just appear and your party follows it from there. If you want to go with a less direct route though, then consider having a specific location that people go missing at, or a place where items belonging to people that have gone missing have been found as part of the info they can gather from the locals. Once they reach its lair, you can send them through whatever area you'd like this creature to have been lurking in. Something like a nearby cave system, abandoned house on the edge of town, or graveyard crypt. Wherever you place it, it should have enough room for several kidnapped kids. Speaking of the missing children, I would say that they should be found alive no matter what, because that's just a step too far otherwise. Plus, there are so many other interesting narrative options if they're returned safely to their families. Once the party has cornered this horror out of the box, they can get busy turning it into a horror in a pine box. The stats for this creature are fairly straightforward. It's only got 1 attack per round, and the only special ability it has is extra movement by jumping. For a 5th level party, we're looking at an easy encounter with just one of these creatures. You can pull a twist on your party by suddenly having a second one join the fight, which also turns this into a hard fight, but this seems like one of those times where combat should be fairly easy. As this creature is defeated, you can simply leave it at that, or if you wanted to take the "it's working for a stronger Fey" approach, then you can reveal that fact now. As you drive your blade through this Fey creature's chest, it grips you with its long arms, looks you in the eyes, and says,
Mother will not be happy.
You watch as its body falls lifeless on your blade. Regardless of what you do, the party is able to free the children and return them to their families, and that's all there is to it. Now, I know I said combat should be easy here, but there is such a thing as too easy. So let's take a second to look at how we can make this harder. When it comes to scaling, we're kind of limited in our choices on this one. I'll be looking at combat specifically here, since scaling the roleplay bit doesn't really have any effect other than slowing the party down. When it comes to combat, you can add in more of these creatures. 3 of them make for a hard encounter for a 10th level party, and that might be enough, but higher than that and things will start to get unwieldy. This leaves you with taking the action-oriented approach that I've talked about before, increasing the stats, damage, abilities, etc. of this creature, or trying to wear the party down before the final fight by creating a small dungeon for them to go through. You could also have the party encounter a more powerful Fae here if you're using that option. Just have them run away when combat starts going south for them, and you can bring them back at a later point in the story. This way, the horror out of the box can be backed up in combat by whatever creature it's serving, and your party can still walk away successfully. Scaling, story reveal, future boss setup, and a win for the party, all in one. Otherwise, let combat be a little easier here, and allow your party to be celebrated as the heroes they are. Plus, if combat's too easy, your party is probably going to start second-guessing themselves and start wondering why that was the case. That alone could be worth it. For now though, you should know enough to introduce your party to Dollar Store Pennywise. They get to play the heroes, save the day, and get the recognition they deserve all at the same time as well. If you want to pick up the stat block for this creature, then you can find it in the Grim Hollow Monster Grimoire from Ghostfire Gaming. There's a link in the description, but I'm not sponsored or affiliated with them in any way. I just thought it was an interesting creature to use. If you like what I do here and want to see more encounters using monsters from all sorts of places, then consider doing that whole like, comment, and subscribe dance. And if you have thoughts on this encounter, or just want to suggest a specific monster for me to make an encounter around in the future, then I'd love to hear that as well. With that though, thanks for letting me talk at you all, and until next time, keep pondering.